Hi.
Hi. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Good Vibes FC. I'm Sam Mewis, and I am coming to you from the Women's Game World Headquarters in Vermont.
And I'm Lynn Williams, coming to you from a white empty box because I just moved in New Jersey.
You just moved, Lynn. Tell us all about it.
So we just moved from one apartment to another apartment in the same complex. And let me tell you, I have moved across the country a couple times, and this was much harder.
Why?
Because I think that when you're just moving close, like we moved 3 floors up, you don't like pack like you would normally pack.
Yeah. So you just make a million trips.
It was a million trips. It was also like half the time we were just starting to throw things into the apartment. And I was like, where is everything? Like I was trying to organize in here and I was like, where is the stuff? Whereas normally when you pack everything up, you put them in the boxes and you just make whatever 3 trips, however many you need.
Label it kitchen.
Yeah, nope. It was mayhem. Poor Marley. His back was broken.
Oh, that sounds like real difficult. But are you all settled in your new home?
I am mainly settled, but obviously I have nothing in this room besides this lovely podcast equipment and a white background.
Well, I think you look great, Lynn. I hope you get all situated and all settled. I went to Kansas City at the end of last week, and we did a live show in Kansas City.
I know. How was it? It looked so fun. I was so jealous.
Yeah, it was really great. It was really fun to see the crowd and to have them laugh when I would make a joke in real time. It made me want to have like a live laugh track so that I would get confidence every time I think I say something funny. It was very fun. It was brought to the world by Olipop, which was incredible of them. We got to like talk to Kristen Hamilton and Elizabeth Ball, which was really fun. E-Ball made this really funny joke, Lynn, at the beginning of the show where she like called the Longs, the owners, Mr. and Mrs. Long, but she was like kidding. But then like for the whole rest of the show, every time we referred to them, we would refer to them as Mr. and Mrs. Long. And it was like very funny by E-Ball.
That is hilarious. I loved that the top you were wearing.
Oh my God, thank you. The little white vest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's from Madewell.
You love Madewell.
So it's available to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's not unique.
Also, did you get a necklace in the mail by chance?
Not yet.
Rats. I ruined it. But I did get this in the mail.
I know! Lynn is wearing her Women's Game merch, her new Women's Game merch. If you can't see her, you could be watching this on YouTube next time. But you can also get your frickin' Women's Game merch yourself and you can match Lynn.
I know. Okay, well, check your mail because something is coming.
I will check my mail. Okay, if you want to be up to date on the Mr. and Mrs. Long joke, you can listen to the whole Kansas City live show on our podcast feed or on our YouTube channel. Also, Lynn, my other news is I'm going to coach a soccer game.
Oh, wait, I saw that. What do you mean? What's happening? I don't get it.
So Vermont Green is like USL2 club here in Vermont. That's like a summer league. And the club is incredible. The club is like all about environmental sustainability and social justice. Like it's like the most incredible club I've like ever interacted with. Their like jerseys are really like everything about the club is so awesome. And they want to have a women's team. So they're doing this like exhibition game. It's just like a one-off game to like, I don't know, demonstrate their efforts in like trying to create a women's team. And they asked me to coach. So they're going to give me a lot of help. Like I'm definitely not going to be like out here doing all of the coaching, but I'm really excited about it. It's on June 22nd. It's at UVM. And I like can't wait. I think it's going to be so fun.
Yeah, you're like going to put them through drills and everything?
Well, so we're going to have 3 trainings in the game. And I do think I'm going to have help, but I'm definitely going to put some of my own drills in there. You know what I'm really excited to do is to do like the day before the game drills where you do like kind of like the speed races, like technical drills. But it's like fun and like you get some sprints in and you like get some quick technical work in. So that's pretty much all I have planned so far.
Can you give us your like pump up speech? Like, what do you think you're going to say?
Oh my God, I have literally no idea. So like, no. And I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
But maybe like when it gets closer, I'll start thinking about it and I'll give you guys a little sneak peek.
Great. I love that. I can't wait.
It's going to be really fun. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Okay, today on the podcast, the NWSL is back after taking a quick little international break. So we will get into all of the wild moments of the weekend. Plus, we cover the CONCACAF Champions Cup Draw and Sinead Farrelly's retirement. We'll preview the week ahead, and we'll read an email from Jessica B. about what it's like playing with your sister, Lynn. I'm excited about that one.
I'm also excited about that.
But before we get to all that, we are the self-anointed dancing lobsters of women's soccer because it was a real dance out there this weekend, you guys. So let's get into it. First things first. Lynn, you celebrated your record-setting 79th goal. How was it?
I know. It was good. It's so weird, like celebrating something. Well, one, I was out there by myself. Like my family wasn't there. And my family was there, but they were in the stands.
Okay.
And in my head, I was like, oh, I would have loved them to be down on the field with me. In that moment, I was like, oh yeah, that kind of sucks. I wish they were down here. But it was amazing. Like I was standing waving like for an awkward amount of time, I feel. And then the team like came over and I was like, thank God. Like, thank God you guys are here. And it was very sweet. But it also felt like, I don't know, this might just be, I don't know, it's weird. But like the team had just played like this amazing game and like put all of their effort out onto the field. And then I wasn't playing. So then I was like, oh, now it's my turn to shine, even though the team had done all, I was like, I want the people who just played to get all this. And you know what I mean? Like it just felt like a weird moment, but also it was really cool and sweet. And I'm really happy that the club recognized the moment. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I'm not done playing yet. So it kind of also feels weird.
It did seem like a fun moment. And like, obviously so glad that your team won because if not, that would have been like so awkward. But everybody seemed really happy. Like, did you see the video of Rose crawling under the jersey and just then like posing there?
Yes, I did.
It's so
you
funny.
Silly girl.
I know. Do you think that like celebrating it and like getting the framed jersey, does it like kind of make it feel more official? Like, yes, I am the NWSL's all-time leading goal scorer. Thank you very much.
Yes, in a way. I think that, well, I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And then it's weird where I'm like, we can celebrate this moment, but I'm
going to score more goals.
Hopefully score more goals. So like, hopefully that number changes. And then at the same time, like you do go online and people are like, congrats, this is amazing. And then the other people are like, well, it's in all competitions. It's not like regular season. So I feel like that there's this weirdness around it where I don't have so many mixed feelings and emotions about it that I like don't really think about it that much. I'm just like, okay, yeah, thank you so much. And like, let me move on.
Fair enough. Well, it's living in everybody else's mind. Like I want them to give you a jersey for every single goal you score from here on out.
Thank you so much. I hope that they do that as well.
Because you're just going to like keep setting the record.
Well, I can need a backdrop, so that would be nice.
That would be nice. Soon enough, you'll have a jersey for 80, 81, 82. And then maybe they'll just jump right to 84 because you're going to get a hat trick in one game.
You heard it here first. Sam said it.
Okay, well, let's talk about your game a little bit more. You guys won 2-1 against Angel City. The LA girls came to the East Coast, but Gotham just fist pumped their way to the finish line. Jersey Shore style. Gym, tan, laundry. Anyway, Sam, stop talking about Jersey Shore. So Gotham sealed the victory and another 3 points. They're now in 5th place and steadily rising. First things first with your game. Lynn, you weren't on the team sheet. How is your calf feeling?
My calf is getting better day by day, minute by minute, moment by moment.
Breath by breath.
Breath by breath. Blood flow by blood flow.
Step by step.
Day by day.
I know you already said
minute
that.
by minute. You want to keep going?
I honestly, yeah. We have like about 50 more minutes and I think we could just keep going with that one joke the whole time.
Agreed. But it's feeling better. Hopefully I can start playing soon, but I'm just going to listen to my body. That's all I got.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, the game kicked off with the news that Crystal Dunn would be running it back from her positioning with the U.S. Women's National Team a few days prior as an attacking player. An attack she did. In the 26th minute, Crystal got into the box off of a Yasmin Ryan pass. Then she took on the keeper and an Angel City defender. She slid it to the opposite side of the box. LA keeper Herachich would get a hand on it, but it wasn't enough to stop it. It was 1-0 Gotham. This game started out all Gotham with several close attacks and Jenna Neiswanger sneaking forward to create some chances, something she's really, really prolific at. And Lynn, last week I actually talked about this with Becky, like how Jenna is getting forward so much and is so dangerous as an attacking player for the national team and for Gotham. But that sometimes with the national team, I was noticing that it was just leaving a gap in the back line. And we talked about how the back line needs to cover for her sometimes. But this week, I think we should talk about it the opposite way. Like, Jenna getting forward creates more room for attacking midfielders and strikers. She's crossing. She's dangerous in the area. How do you see Jenna's attacking influence helping Gotham?
Yeah, I think Jenna is an amazing attacker. I think that she came into the league as an attacker and has learned to be a defender. So that comes so natural to her. I also think that, the more numbers and the more people you get into the box, the better your chances and odds are. So normally it would be like the winger is crossing it to whoever. And now when you can put Jenna in that position, you can just get more numbers in the box. You create a man up situation. You create confusion of
attacking superiority, if you will. Numerical superiority.
Coach Mewis.
Yes.
And so I think that it causes confusion for the defender. They're like, who am I going to pick up? Who has her? Because when a defender is defending a defender, you're like, well, this is unnatural.
For sure. I think to that point too, it can also cause, I think at times, the right winger to get pinned back, tracking Jenna back defensively, and that mitigates the attack for the other team. I think that's a really good point. But after a few close attacks, LA finally got one back off of a cross that went untouched, and it happened to just bounce in past keeper and Katrine Berger, making it 1-1. That was not all she wrote. Our girl Roosevelt made a little magic happen. She began with the ball out on the wing. She laid it into Delaney Sheehan, who left it there for her to pick back up and bury in the bottom right corner for 2-1 Gotham. And that's how it would end. So Gotham get 3 more points. They're undefeated in the last 7 games. Lynn, how does that feel?
So good. It feels so nice. I think that we said this before, but points matter. And at the beginning of the season, we obviously dropped some points that we did not want to drop. So the fact that we're picking them back up is very important.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I feel not to assume anything, but I think it was kind of a rough start. And it seems like things are leveling out for you guys. It's coming together. Are things feeling not easier, but just better for your team?
Yeah, definitely. I think that what people assumed was, Gotham won the championship and now they're bringing in X, Y, and Z, all these big name players.
It's so that it was going to be easy from the jump.
It was just going to be a seamless transition. And it's no, well, we brought in 6, 7, 8 players. That's a big turnover. And so everybody needs to learn how everybody plays. Everybody needs to get on the same system. There needs to be some gelling that happening. And then you add on top of that international play, people going in and out. It just took longer than I think that we would expect, but also it just takes some time. And right now, even watching last game, there was so many more opportunities for us to put the ball away. And I think that is the most exciting piece, is that we are winning, but we have so many more moments. So just imagine what we can do once those start to click.
I would be terrified if I was anybody else. Okay, so we had another really, really big and exciting game. It was Chicago versus Bay FC at Wrigley Field in Chicago, the iconic baseball stadium. Alyssa Nair was back in net, coming back after a couple weeks out with injury. Mal Swanson was back from camp, and Chicago was ready to freaking party. They set a new NWSL attendance record at a wild 35,038 fans in the stadium.
Wowzers.
But disappointingly to all, the Bay decided to ghost ride the whip through Wrigley Field. Yep, I said it. We are making weird jokes here on this podcast. Bay got out of the car as it rolled along, and they danced their way to victory. It's just what they did. Kiki Pickett scored her first NWSL goal. It was a curler from long range to start it off for Bay FC, making it 1-0 in the 25th minute. And then in the 79th minute, some shaky defense at the back allowed Joelle Anderson to make it 2-0 Bay off of an unplayed clearance that she banged in. But then in the 93rd minute, Chicago did get one back with a Penelope Hawking goal. Chicago weren't going to win the game, but it was a cool moment because Penelope Hawking's dad, Denny, actually hit a home run at Wrigley Field while he was a professional baseball player for the Twins. Isn't that kind of a cool story?
That is a cool story. It's so funny that because as a girl dad or just a dad, and knowing that your daughter plays soccer, you would just never assume we're going to both play on this field.
I know.
I would love to know if her dad has the baseball that he hit and if she got the soccer ball and they can put it together.
God. Cool. We should request that photo.
Yes. And then them holding it at the stadium.
Wow. A Christmas card.
Yes. A Christmas card.
Penelope Hawking, let us know.
Let us know here at Good Vibes FC. Phone in. Email us. I'm just kidding.
And I just feel like Wrigley too, it's like kind of like one of those stadiums that you'd remember hitting a home run at, you'd remember scoring a goal at, because it's just such an iconic stadium. So I think that this kind of like brought some good energy back to Chicago, even though they lost this game, which is like just such a bummer to lose a special game like this. They set the attendance record. It's at Wrigley Field. But I guess I'm curious, Lynn, if you think the added pressure of all that played a part in the loss, or did Bay just come to play?
I don't know if it's added pressure. I do think that there is so much hype around it, though, that you just want to do well. And obviously they got so many fans out there. And so when you lose a game like that, I think you start to think, will they come back now that we lost? Will they come back if we're back in our own facility? You like to think that it was just a one-off, that wouldn't happen. But I think that those things do go through your mind. But no, I think that unfortunately it was just a game that they lost. I think it's just an unfortunate situation.
I was so bummed for them. We had a listener on Friendlies actually last week, and she was saying a little bit about how like the ownership group wanted to use this as an opportunity to either prove or disprove like if you build it, they will come. And I think that the Chicago Red Stars have been playing at a stadium for years that's kind of far outside the city. So their attendance hasn't necessarily been up in these like tens of thousands of fans every week. But to have like such a special game and to see that 35,000 people did show up, it's kind of to the argument that if you do what Kansas City did, if you build us a stadium, if you put us somewhere closer to the city, if you give us a little bit more of an opportunity to get numbers like this, we can. I think a win would have just been the icing on the cake to be like, women's soccer in Chicago is like really here and ready to go. But I still think it was a win to get the attendance record and a win to just show that this whole thing can be pulled off and like be a really cool and big moment for the Red Stars. So I was happy for them, but I wish they could have pulled out the win.
Same. I don't think that any player or anybody looking should say like, oh, the loss is going to, like I said, make or break this, or a loss, it just sucks like that you lose any game, but specifically that game, especially that game. I think that they should look at it like the whole thing as a win. Yeah. You get thousands and thousands of fans there. You're in an iconic stadium. Like you said, if you prove your point, if you build it, people will come. I would say overall a win on the day minus the actual win.
Precisely. Well, Portland also got a win in their game. They played North Carolina, and this game was a real tango. It was kind of like everybody was very close together. The stakes were high. People put roses in their mouths when they tango, and Portland are the thorns. All right, we had to make the dance metaphor work here, and you know what? We made it work. Okay, let's get into this game. Sam Coffey, alarmingly for U.S. Women's National Team fans, was subbed off in the first half, and then she was seen back out on the bench in the second half with a boot on her right foot. So hopefully this whole thing was precautionary, but definitely a little bit unsettling for Emma Hayes, who has relied heavily on Sam Coffey in that number 6 role for the national team. Sophia Smith scores a penalty for Portland in the 79th minute, notching her 9th goal of the season, who's in the lead for the Golden Boot race. Portland do end up walking away with a 1-0 victory, but there is more to this story. After her goal, Soph Smith gets a yellow in the 89th minute for time wasting. Then she gets subbed off in the 97th minute, likely by the coach to be like, okay, like, we don't want to get a red card. Like, let's just take her off. We're going to win. It's fine. But then Soph gets another yellow from the bench for time wasting again. The ball went out of bounds right in front of the Portland bench. Soph, like, sorry to call you out, Soph, got on all fours to grab the ball, and it like kind of accidentally on purpose rolled under the bench after Soph tried to grab it. And like it is like laughable and funny, but like also not laughable when the implications of the second yellow hit. Like now Soph is not going to get to play in the Portland-Seattle rivalry game next weekend. I think like I get why everybody is like laughing about this and just being like, this was so silly and ridiculous. But I feel like as a player, I'm sure that like Soph isn't laughing. So like, I almost feel bad talking about this because it's like, I'm sure she's just like, why did I even involve myself in that at all? Whether she would say she did it on purpose or not, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's so unfortunate and it sucks to just get the second yellow from the bench for like something silly.
Yeah.
How do you think you would feel if this happened to you?
Yeah, I think I would think that was ridiculous. Like, I can't believe I got a second yellow for that particular play. I think if you're going to get a red card, you want it to be a red card or like a true double yellow, if that makes sense. So I would be upset too. I'd be like, now I can't play in the next game, this rivalry game. And like you said, I would be kind of upset with myself. I'd be like, well, why did I even do that? That was, I should have just left it.
Hindsight is 2020, but I also feel like this is one of those things that like, it's like going down as women's soccer, like folklore, because it was just like so silly.
I just think when you watch it, like as also a fan, the headline should have been like, Portland wins, Sophia Smith, 9th goal of the season, continues to push her Golden Boot lead ahead. And in turn, it's Sophia Smith crawling on the ground, pushes the ball under the bench, gets a second yellow. Like, I think that is also to take into consideration. I'd be like, that's upsetting. Like, I was like the hero of this game, but also like did something so silly.
But yeah, it's like she should be the hero of the game, but it's like it's like a joke. Like the thing is just like now this thing everybody like loves and thinks is so funny. But I just feel like if it were me, I'd be like, oh my God, like why is everybody so obsessed with this? I'm being obsessed with this too by making us continue to talk about it. When you are time wasting though, Lynn, what are like the keys? Like, how do you get away with time wasting? Because honestly, look, Portland won. They got 3 points. Like, obviously you wish there were no red cards involved, but they did pull out the 3 points, and that does matter.
Yeah, I think that a couple things. I think that one, you need to realize, and now everybody does, just because you're not in the game doesn't mean you can't get a card. You can absolutely get a card. I think that you need to know if you're on a yellow or not on a yellow. So if you aren't already on a yellow, you can get away with a little bit more. And so I don't think she took that into consideration. But everybody wastes time. It's part of the game. Walking slower. Like when I'm exiting the field, unless the ref is telling me to move, I'm going to go as slow as possible.
Yeah.
And then if they do tell me to move, I might pick up the pace. If they then give me a yellow card, I'm like, okay, I have a yellow now. I'll pick it up. But if I'm getting off the field, like I'm like, I have one yellow. It's fine.
Yeah.
But also knowing you need to know how many yellows you have because that has implications down the road as well.
Yeah.
But until a ref tells me to do something, I'm going to go at my own pace, leisurely. Yeah. But you need to like know the situation that you are in. What are like some things you do? Fake tying your shoe. You're like, oh, my shoe.
Fake tie the shoe. I think the goalkeeper can get away with that because the gloves situation. The goalkeeper can waste a lot of time, but if they already have a yellow, you're in a tough spot there.
You don't need to like, if you're on a yellow, sprint around, but like you have to act as if you're going to try to get the ball or try to get off the field or try to do whatever.
I think just kind of like good clearances, high and wide, booting it towards the corner flag, but make sure it goes out for throw in deep. Like you can really lock a team down in their half by just like maintaining possession, like down near the corner or like along the sideline in their half. I feel like I'd always rather do it that way. But then there's also a little trick you can do where like if you have a free kick, somebody can like set it all up, but then you can like have somebody else take it. So it like takes a while to keep it all moving, you know? We used to like talk about this a lot actually with the Courage and with the national team because especially in tournament play, like when you just have to get the win, like you should do anything you can to get the win. Like it is part of the game. And so it's actually like really strategic. And there's just this line of do as much as you can do without getting carded.
I think that the refs are starting to like, what's the word? What's the saying?
Crack down.
Crack down. I was going to say lockdown. Refs are starting to crack down on time wasting. And that's something that they do say is like, we are going to add as much time as you guys waste. And I think that is one thing we have seen with VAR as well. Like these crazy amounts of like added time have been added.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think that even now it's more tricky to waste time. But like you said, you can do so many things to manipulate where the ball is on the field and how you're going to just lock them in without actually having to like not take the free kick or not get off the field. But if we're up and if I'm getting subbed off, we talk about this all the time, like go to the middle of the field. So they can't force you to go off at the other end and you walk all the way around. Like go to the middle of the field and then slowly take your time to get off the field.
Go walk the captain's armband over to somebody. Give somebody a hug.
Clap to the stadium. Yeah. fake an injury.
Yeah, that was all a bit much. You'd definitely get a yellow card if you did all that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, time wasting is part of the game. Like, I respect the effort. When you're on the team that's down a goal, like, nothing makes you matter. But the reminder that you would be doing the exact same thing if you were winning is always, like, so annoying to be reminded of.
I know. You're like...
Yeah, I know. So it's definitely part of the game. I feel for Soph that she's got a red card and she's now out. I think, yeah, it's just, it happens and like, it's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough situation.
It's a tough situation. Okay, so Kansas City regained the top spot in the NWSL with a commanding 5-2 win versus Seattle. Obviously, this game had some dirty dancing in it, you guys. We are going to get to that. But overall, this is like when you meet somebody at the club, starts off a little unsure, but maybe then just things get a little bit wild and eventually people are out there grinding. I don't know.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say it. Wondering if the Women's Game Live show just like brought the chaos back to Kansas City. It's definitely a possibility. Seattle's Jordan Heidema started off with a goal for Seattle to make it 1-0, but Temwa Chewinga wasn't having any of that. A fast break down the wing led to a clean cross, and Temwa easily slid it home to make it 1-1. Then Heidema scored again for Seattle in the 41st minute, so now it's 2-1 Seattle. Okay, Seattle. Lauren, the Brazilian center back for Kansas City, scored at the end of the first half to make it 2-2 at the break. I'm like, okay, it's 2-2. I'm going to go like shove some dinner down and come back after halftime. I come back and it's 4-2. And I was like, what's happening? Like, how did I miss this? I was just away for halftime. But Kansas City came out after the break and scored immediately. In the 46th minute, Vanessa DiBernardo assisted by Chewinga. Then Chewinga scored literally 1 minute later in the 47th to make it 4-2. Temwa Chewinga, I don't know what she was doing on international break, but she was doing something.
I said she was dirty dancing out there. That's what she was doing.
Well, there was about to be some serious dirty dancing. In the 67th minute, a Lo LeBonta penalty would seal it for Kansas City, but not without a little bit more magic for Lo. They did the celebration from Dirty Dancing. I've had the time of my life. And Lo leapt into Haley Mace's arms and hoisted up in the air.
First, I have a couple of things to say about this game. Actually, I got a lot. One.
Tell me.
Is Haley Mace okay? Because I want to know, are her Achilles okay? Are her thighs okay?
From the lift?
From the lift. I kept replaying it and her face was like this. And I was like, are you okay?
I saw her poor little knee on the ground at a weird angle and I was like,
I know. I was like, can somebody check on her? What a teammate to lift Lo up. But
I know.
Is she okay? I need to know if she's okay. Second, Chewinga's first goal, I believe, where she just tapped it in. How was she so open? It was like she was in the 6-yard box by herself. I felt like I was watching like FIFA. Like somehow she was just so open and there was not a single defender in sight. I was like, how did you get so open?
Well, do you think that's maybe like one of the issues at Seattle is that they're just marking in the box and tracking isn't like up to the standard with the rest of the league's forwards?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a conversation we can have. But it was just like that. It was just like not one of those where like, okay, somebody's in the box, they're open, we're gonna pass it to her. She still has people around her. No, she had not a soul was around her. I don't think I've seen that in a very, very long time. So that was interesting to me. My third point is, as a fan watching Kansas City, I'm sure the fans are having the best time of their lives.
I know.
As a player on Kansas City, I would love to know what's going through their heads when at halftime or when somebody scores a goal. Are they just saying, it's fine, we're going to score 17 more?
I don't know. I wonder. We did talk to Elizabeth Ball at the Kansas City Live show, and we brought up their first ever game at CPKC Stadium that was 5-4. And E-Ball was like, actually like, you guys, that was traumatizing. Like, I can't believe we let in 4 goals. Like, I actually like don't want to, like, she was rattled by the memory of winning 5-4. Because I think that the standard there, especially with their head coach, Vlatko Andonovski, is not like being met defensively. Like, we know firsthand that Vlatko takes shutouts and the defensive shape and kind of like performance really seriously. So I think that the players are aware that it's not ideal, but in a league like the NWSL, they are scoring a ton of goals. And maybe that kind of attacking aggressiveness is leaving them a little bit exposed at the back. But with the finishing that they've been doing, like maybe it doesn't matter.
It reminds me of when we were in 2016. Obviously, I think that they are more advanced than what we were in 2016. But remember, we would get scored on like 3 goals and we would just win 3-4. And every time we would get scored on, we'd be like, rats, like got scored on again.
Like, was that fun to win 4-3 or was it like stressful?
I can't remember. I just remember us being like, it's okay. Like, I think that we were so young and naive to the fact that that was bad, that we were just like, we're just going to score again. Like, it's okay. We messed up. We're scoring. But like I said, I think that they are obviously more advanced than where we were at that moment. So even though that they are upset with themselves letting in goals, are they still just like, it's okay, we're going to score? Because they have shown that they are just going to score.
For sure. But the sense that I got from just interacting with some of the players at the show is that the team camaraderie and chemistry and belief is there. So it seems to me like they always believe that they're going to score. I think what Vlatko and what the players probably are looking for in themselves is, let's say, like, I think when you are constantly letting in goals, that can catch up to you. If you get unlucky and you miss your 3 opportunities and you lose 1-0, they're going to then be like, okay, this finally like caught up to us. Yeah. But so far it hasn't. And so far they're creating a ton of chances and scoring a ton of goals. Do you think games like this are good for like the entertainment quality? Like, as a fan, would you rather see a 5-2 game than a 1-0 game?
I think for entertainment purposes, yes. I think that people who don't know the game of soccer and don't study the game of soccer and know the intricacies of the game that's always been their critique of there's not enough goals being scored. And I think when you watch a team like Kansas City, you're like, well, here they are. Here's all of the goals that you guys have ever wanted. And I think that for the fans, that is exciting. I would assume, though, as a player, that is not as exciting. Obviously, to get scored on, to score goals is the exciting part, but to have those goals, it's like you're always in a hole, like you're never comfortable.
Right.
And then also when you're talking about playoffs, right now they're in first place, but they keep battling with Orlando going back and forth.
Yeah.
That does matter of like who's going to be the shield winner. True. Because the tiebreakers of goals for, goals against.
True.
So on and so forth.
Interesting.
I think that is I'm interested to see how that plays out. Don't count Gotham out, though.
I wouldn't dream of it, Lynn. I wouldn't dream of it. A couple other things of note. Julie Doyle scored a sick goal in the Orlando versus San Diego draw. It was this little like boop finish straight out of the air. That game ended 1-1, but an incredible finish from Julie Doyle. Parker Goins subbed on for Louisville in the 84th minute and then immediately scored in the 85th minute to close out the win for Louisville. Louisville won 2-0 against Houston. And then Kate Weissner of the Spirit scored her first ever goal after being a training player at U.S. Women's National Team camp last week, and DC ended up beating Utah 1-0. It is time now for the Olipop Gut Check of the Week, brought to you by our favorites over at Olipop. Obviously, this is the dance episode. So, the Olipop Gut Check, Lynn. What are the best dance scenes from movies that maybe Lola Bonta could turn into another dance celebration?
Ooh, great question. Cheers, Sam. Dink. I think she could do Saturday Night Fever.
Do you know that one?
No, I don't.
I think it's like this one.
Can you,
like, is it like a little discoing?
I don't know.
I don't actually know. What about Risky Business? The underwear slide across the floor. I don't know how you do it with cleats on.
She takes off her pants.
And her cleats.
In her sliders just across.
Maybe that one isn't going to work, but I know West Side Story would work if they like got it, the whole team like split into 2 groups and they like snapped back and forth at each other.
Everybody getting yellow carded for time wasting. Every single person. Yellow, 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 yellow. Time waste, time waste.
Worth it? Worth it?
Worth it. Probably. Footloose?
Footloose.
Line dancing.
The line dancing from Footloose?
Yeah.
The line the whole team up?
Yeah.
And they should she should coordinate with the speaker system.
Footloose.
I want to say Step Up, like, because the first dance move that pops in my head as a 31-year-old woman is Step Up, but like I don't know which scene they would recreate.
I think I got it. She comes over, They are pouring water on the ground and she's just splashing water everywhere. You know that scene where they're in the rain? Other people are dumping water on her. So she's now a wet rat. But
And do you think that people are going to go, oh yeah, that's the scene from Step Up?
No, they probably are going to say that's the scene from Magic Mike.
Well, Magic Mike was my last idea. We don't really need to describe this. The Kansas City Current can do a Magic Mike if they want to. We're all adults here. So gut check, Lynn. Which one are you voting that they do?
I think Footloose would be the most ideal. Or West Side Story.
I want to see West Side Story, like real bad. I think that would be so funny.
I think that, it would be hilarious.
Kansas City Current, Lola Labonta. That's the Olipop gut check of the week. We think your next celebration should be West Side Story. Everybody go get an Olipop. Comment on this. Let us know. What did we miss? What's an iconic dance scene from a movie that could be turned into a soccer celebration? We want to update you all on a brand new tournament that is going to be so much fun to watch. So remember a few weeks ago when Lynn and I were like, Lynn?
CONCACAF Champions.
Well, guess what? I didn't realize that it is literally happening underneath our freaking noses. The CONCACAF Champions Cup is this brand spanking new tournament. Did they steal our idea? No. But really, who's to say? They literally just had the draw for it. So we've done a little bit of homework now. Let's update you on what the deal actually is. The CONCACAF Champions Cup Draw took place last week. So this is a club tournament that will serve as the qualification process for the FIFA Club World Cup in early 2026. It's the region's first official Women's Continental Club Championship with 11 of the best women's clubs in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. They'll all compete for the regional club title. So last week, the teams were drawn into two groups of 5. Group A is Gotham. Go Bats.
Whoa.
Tigres and Monterrey from Mexico. Alajuelense of Costa Rica. And Fraziers from Jamaica. And then Group B is the San Diego Wave, the Portland Thorns, Club America from Mexico, Santa Fe from Panama. And then the final spot will be either Alianza from El Salvador or Vancouver of Canada. There's going to be a preliminary round between those two teams that will take place in August before the first round of the rest of the tournament. At the conclusion of the group stage, the group winners and runners-up, so 4 clubs total, will progress to the competition's final 4. This is all kicking off on August 13th for that preliminary round game, and then there will be 5 weeks of matches throughout the fall before the knockouts in the spring. Feel like we covered our bases there. This is so fun. I'm really excited about it. I know it's adding more games to your plate, Lynn, but it does seem like a really cool opportunity to play against competition from other countries and to try to qualify for the Club World Cup. How are you and your team feeling about it?
I think that in theory, it's very exciting. I think that having a Club World Cup is exciting, and being able to play different teams outside of this league is also very exciting. But like I said, it's just more games. And I think that we haven't thought about all of the implications. I think in our schedule coming up, we play in the US and then we add a midweek game and we go to Mexico. And then on the Sunday, we have to fly back from Mexico to play at Gotham again. So it's so much travel and logistical and on our bodies. And it's are we chartering? Are we not chartering? Do we have the infrastructure again to be doing this? I am uncertain. And I think that having this and announcing it in the same year without thinking about all of those things is worrisome.
Yeah, I hear you. I think this is a issue across soccer, men's and women's football. The match calendar globally is just really, really heavy on the players. Something recently that came up was FIFA has made some changes moving forward to the international FIFA dates, and there's actually going to be fewer dates to, I think the intention is to give more opportunities to the club game to solidify itself in countries maybe where it hasn't solidified itself yet. So I know that everyone is aware of the heavy match calendar. I think from a club level, there is a huge responsibility to protect the players, travel-wise, recovery-wise. What do you choose to prioritize? I think about teams in Europe who play Champions League. They have all these domestic cups. They have their regular league play. What's the most important thing? And will that change over time? Could the Club World Cup become like Champions League? Could it become the most important thing? Do you know what I'm asking?
Yeah, I think that it could become that at some point. That would be incredible. I don't know if we're there yet. So to your point, like, I think that anytime you have something to win, you're going to try to give it all and you're going to want to win that trophy. I think as competitors, we want to win everything. Like nobody wants to lose. But I think that also we have to like, and this is a real topic of like, where do you get paid? Like Gotham is what pays me. All of my bonuses have to do with Gotham soccer because I didn't know that this, and not just me, I think a lot of people, nobody knew about this.
You mean all your bonuses are NWSL based?
NWSL based, yes.
They have nothing to do with these other tournaments that didn't exist.
Correct. So I think that when you talk about people's livelihood and income and what they signed, I think that this puts a little bit of a little bump in the road of, I didn't know this was happening. I maybe would have asked for more money if I knew I was going to play X amount more games. I would have put in my contract if I score this, or somebody else if I start or play. And I think that that's where you also will have some issues that I don't think people thought about. But I will say it's very exciting. I think that like
totally
the idea of it and the potential of this could be very cool and very exciting. And I don't want to like make it sound like, oh, no, we don't want to do this. I just think that these are things people need to think about that maybe haven't been thought about.
Totally. And I think that you have every right to ask these questions. Like, I think for years we've been told to just be grateful that we even get to play at all. Like, just be grateful we're trying to create this tournament. And it's like, I am. Like, this is awesome. I'm pumped. I think this is going to be an awesome tournament. But it doesn't mean that players should do it for free or risk bodily injury or risk even like sacrificing league play. Like, it means that the team and the leagues and the organizations in charge like have a responsibility to make sure everybody's safe, everybody's can be healthy, everybody can get all the resources that they need. You should charter there and back. Like, that is on the people who are scheduling this.
Correct. And also, do we have enough players that can do this? I feel like in Europe and on the men's side, you have different tiers of players inside the own organization. You can move people up and down within in the league. And right now, I don't know if the NWSL has that as either. We have our 23 players on a roster, and do we have the ability to bring somebody up? Is that in our seat? Like, I have no idea.
Well, super interesting. Again, I'm really excited about the tournament. I hope that you guys are given a lot of resources in order to participate. It's obviously a huge honor to get to participate in it. And I think it would be incredible to qualify for the Club World Cup through this process. But we'll obviously be keeping an eye on and asking you, Lynn, like, how does it feel to fly to Mexico midweek and fly back? Like, it is a big ask. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today is that Sinead Farrelly announced her retirement from professional soccer. Sinead was one of the players who came forward in 2021 about sexual abuse that occurred in the league, resulting in changes to the league's policies and helping to create a safer league for everybody. After that news broke in 2021, Sinead came back to play for Gotham, having not played since initially retiring in 2016. Gotham FC said in a statement that Farrelly was advised by a neurologist to cease playing soccer due to the cumulative head injuries that she has sustained throughout her career, leaving her vulnerable to additional head injuries if she were to continue to play. So this has been cited as post-concussive syndrome, which is a set of symptoms that can occur after like a mild traumatic brain injury and last longer than expected. This syndrome can also occur after moderate or severe injuries like whiplash or repeated brain injuries. Symptoms can be across like a multitude of areas: physical, cognitive, behavioral, or emotional. So obviously sounds like Sinead was advised to stop playing for this kind of medical reason. But Lynn, can you just talk to us a little bit about what it's been like having Sinead on your team? What makes her such a special player?
Yeah, first I want to say, like, obviously this is so sad for our team, but more importantly for Sinead. I have been able to talk to her, and she does seem very at peace with everything. That's not saying that sometimes she doesn't probably go through ups and downs. She's not with the team right now. She obviously needs to take care of her health and get better. But Sinead as a teammate, first of all, she's just like the best person. She is so loving to everybody, accepts everybody for who they are, doesn't try to change anybody. It's like, I see you and I meet you where you're at, which I think that when you're in a team sport, that's like all you want is to be seen for who you are, not have to change into somebody else. She's like the one person that would give everybody gifts and compliments. And she just like brings a light and energy to the environment. And then I think that like on the field, Sinead had been out of the game for however long. And I know that especially last year, coming back and then also going to a World Cup probably was a huge shock to her like body, her system. But her technical ability, she can like play with the ball like underneath her feet. And I'm like, how are you not tripping on the ball? And it's just like so underneath her that you can't get it. She does the same move every time. And I'm like, I still don't know when you're going to do it, one, and still can't get the ball. So that was really annoying. But there's just this one time so before training, sometimes we'll just like pass the ball around or we'll get between two people and just kick it back and forth. And I think that sometimes as players, we are like, well, this is boring. Why aren't we doing something else? And you're like, I've done this since I was a kid. It's so amateur. And Shin said to me one time, she's like, oh, isn't this just so amazing? We just get to kick the ball back and forth to each other. It's incredible. And I think that that moment like has stuck with me for until now and hopefully forever, that it's just really like the simple things that sometimes we take for granted of just being able to just kick the ball back and forth with your friend and being able to work on just your first touch or the way you strike the ball. And it's like that childlike mentality that I think that makes Sinead who she is. And obviously she's gone through a lot in her career, but that is something that I hope to take with me for like a really long time. So she's just honestly the best. I could speak about her forever.
Wow. That was so well said, Lynn. I think what a legacy to leave if you have, like Sinead clearly has left this impression on you that you should enjoy the little things like a little kid and really appreciate every opportunity you get to improve, to have fun, to be with your friends, to just pass the ball back and forth. I think we would all be so lucky if that was kind of the legacy that we left behind. So congratulations to Sinead. It, like you said, Lynn, it's been like a lot to go through in one person's life and one person's career. But I think we're so lucky that she decided to come out of retirement and come back. She won the NWSL championship. And I hope that this medical condition and whatever is going on with her physically is resolved and that she's taken care of really well. But what an incredible story. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course. And I don't know if anybody has seen her Instagram and like she wrote this long message, but part of it just said that she wanted to be able to come back and just try. All she wanted to do was try to play. And she was so scared. And now she does everything scared still. And I think that that is like a beautiful message too. Like, even though it's like you said, it's not ending necessarily in the way that she probably wanted to, or any of us ever want our careers to end. But if we're able to like look back like she's like, all I wanted to do was like try to play again. And she has succeeded that to, I'm assuming her standard, but everybody's standard. And
I know she went to the World Cup with Ireland. Can you believe?
And just started. I think that there was like a story that I might butcher this, but Ireland like reached out to our coach Juan Carlos and was like, so do you think like she can like play? Like how is she? And he was like, yeah, she's like great. You should like take her to camp. She goes to camp and the coach calls him and he's like, what do you mean? Like, she's 100% a starter for us. She's amazing. And then she was just a starter for Ireland at the World Cup. She's incredible.
Incredible.
I know. I can't wait to see what she does in her next phase of life. Obviously, hopefully she gets everything cleared up, and she's awesome.
Well, congratulations to Sinead. Lynn, thank you for sharing that. That was incredible. Yeah. Coming up this weekend, we have a few matches that we wanted to highlight. Kansas City is playing Chicago on Friday, June 14th at 8 p.m. This one is going to be fun. As we said, Kansas City are just fun to watch, and I think Chicago will want to bounce back from that Wrigley loss. On Saturday, the Gothams are going to Louisville at 12 p.m. Another early game, Lynn. Louisville are a team that are tough to beat, but Gotham are on that 7-game unbeaten streak, so it's going to be a good one. Would you rather play at noon, Lynn, or would you rather play at like 5 or like 7? 5, right?
Well, I think the best game time is like a 5 o'clock game because like it's not too late. You're not waiting around all day and you still get your night. You're not coming home at like 11 p.m. But not that I played in this game, but being able to come home and it was like 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty nice.
I know. I always say you recover better the earlier the game is because you like do the big legs at night. Like you have all afternoon. So you like do the big legs and you like eat 2 good meals and you like actually rest. Whereas when you get home at 11 o'clock at night after a 7 p.m. game, You just like go straight to sleep. You don't hydrate. You don't get to do any like recovery modalities.
And you just can't sleep though. Like you're just in bed and you're like, I can't sleep because your adrenaline is still like raging through your veins.
Maybe this is like a breakthrough. Like maybe all games should just get moved up to earlier in the day so players can recover better.
And the heat? Yeah, sounds terrible.
Oh, dang it. I forgot about the heat.
Yeah, remember people were like getting heat strokes, so we couldn't do that?
Never mind. Scratch that, Sam. You do not know everything. The Spirit are hosting the Wave on Saturday at 7:30, and the Courage are hosting the Pride also Saturday at 7:30. So we're going to need to bust out the old split screen action for Saturday night's games. And then Sunday, Seattle are hosting their rivals, Portland, who will be without Sophia Smith due to that red card. Maybe Seattle can finally get a result. Let's go to the inbox. Lynn, we got an email from Jessica B that asks, can you talk about what it's like to grow up with a sister playing soccer too? I have a twin sister, and we both played soccer growing up. She's clearly more athletic than me, but we were close enough in skill to make it interesting. We used to play 1v1 in the front yard, and she always beat me, causing lots of tears and arguments. That sounds like my life. Our poor parents having to deal with that, but I'll never forget the day I megged her for the first time. Glorious. One year, she made a club team that I didn't. Obviously, that sucked. I took a break from soccer, but came back to play with her our senior year of high school before we both went off to play in college. And getting to play with her again was utterly joyful. Ultimately, we're both growing out of our competitiveness with each other, and we are now each other's number one fans. Jessica B, what an amazing question. Lynn and I actually both have older sisters. Lynn, what was it like for you to play against your sister, Jessica, or with her?
Well, yeah, she didn't play soccer. Well, she did for a hot second, but we ran track together. It was fun when we were on the same relay team. We actually like placed, I think it was like third or fourth in state, and we were like she was the first person to go and I was the anchor. So that was really cool. But there was this one time, first of all, anytime we would like jog together or race together, it could have gone two ways. We were either giggling and like not taking it serious, or we were so competitive where we like would just bicker the whole, we'd be like, why are you running so fast? Slow down. And it was just like such a fight every single time.
Yep.
But there was this one race, we raced the 100 together, and we had the exact same time down to like, I'm going to make myself sound stupid, but down to the third number. So it was like 13.47. And then that next number is how she beat me, unfortunately.
She beat you?
For me. Yeah, unfortunately for me.
Dang.
But she's 2 years older, so honestly, whatever. So competitive. It's annoying.
Yeah, ours was the same. Christy and I like couldn't be friends until like post-college. Like we just...
Oh my God, same.
We just like were too, I don't know, like too close in everything and in age, in soccer. Like I was always trailing around after her. Like I think we just both wanted the same thing, and we were like from a small town, so like it was always the Mewis sisters, and we didn't have any like identity of our own, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And I feel like it made us like almost resent each other. And then eventually we realized like, oh, this is actually like a built-in person who understands everything that you go through. But I remember when we were little, we used to like put on our shin guards and like go in the backyard to play one-on-one. And because she was 2 years older than me, she would get like a 3-goal deficit. So like I'd start winning 3-0, but she'd still beat me. And I think it was such great motivation for me. It was probably so annoying for her. But like, I think being a younger sister and having somebody to look up to and like push you is like a reason why I had any success. It was like so helpful.
I like saw this thing. It was like a meme. I'm going to butcher this again, but it's like, we should thank our sisters or our siblings because they made us who we are. And I'm like, yeah, you guys were assholes.
True.
And I was trying to beat you the whole time. And now I'm just
obsessed.
Aggressive, I guess.
Oh, now you're like an aggressive person because your sister like beat you up.
Exactly. But I don't even think that it was just on like competitive, like playing. It was in everything. Like we just, I couldn't stand her growing up. She's my best friend now. I love her so much. But growing up, I was like, anything. Where's my toothbrush? Where's my toothpaste? Where's my hair dye? Where's my clothes? Where's my...
I know.
Blah, blah, blah. I will fight you for anything.
It's so silly too because we used to like fight over clothes, and it's like we could have just had a closet twice as big, but like we wouldn't share with each other.
Wouldn't dare share.
And it's just like so lame.
You stretched out my jeans. You ruined my top. Like slow down and the jogging.
Jen Jessica B, what a great question. Thank you so much for sending that in. If you have questions for us, you can send us an email with whatever it is that you want to know at womensgamemib@menandblazers.com. This is it, Lynn. It's the end of the episode. But before we go, we always leave our listeners with a good vibe. So what good vibe do you have to leave our beautiful listeners with?
My good vibe, because I have been moving and unpacking and packing and all the things, my good vibe would be, this is call to action as always, just like organize, just get your stuff organized. We are now having to go through stuff, throw things away that we don't need.
And you should have done it before so you didn't have to move it.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, don't do what I did, anybody, and just hoard things. Just throw away and make yourself feel a little bit lighter with the junk you don't need in your life.
Yeah, physically with junk and also spiritually with junk. Just let it go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Let that junk go.
Let that junk go. My
What's
good
yours?
vibe, this is a cute little recipe. I've been making a maple ice latte.
Tell us.
Get yourself a little jar with a screw-on lid, ice, whole milk, a shot of espresso, probably like a tablespoon of maple syrup. Shake it up. Undo the lid. Enjoy. You're welcome.
Straw. If you can't have regular milk, do another kind of milk.
No promises on any other kinds of milk, but oat milk would probably be good.
I'm gonna stick to some oat milk. I'll try that with some oat milk because
just do a little shot of maple in there. That's my good vibe. Okay, that's it for this week's episode of Good Vibes FC. I really hope that you're subscribed to this podcast feed. If not, subscribe right now. Use Strawberry Pop-Tart. It is available wherever you listen to podcasts. It's also available to watch on video on YouTube. You can follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Women's Game MIB. We also have a newsletter that drops every Monday. You can sign up for that through the link tree in our social media bios. Later this week, we have an interview with Kelly O'Hara coming out, and we talk about what she's dealing with right now with her injury and her retirement announcement. We probably both cry. All right, that's it, everybody. I will talk to you with Kelly on Thursday.
I'm Lynn Williams.
And I'm Sam Mewis. And this is Good Vibes FC, the podcast that's like the cha-cha slide because it's when all your friends get together, get in the line, and cha-cha real smooth.
To the left.
Take it back now, y'all. 5 hops this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees.
Everybody clap your hands.
Goodbye.